Welcome to Deep Dive with Dr. D. The entire goal of this podcast is to help you see that you have it within you to do amazing things. You ready to get started?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to Deep Dive with Dr. D. I'm glad you're here. I have another special guest. I always say this every episode. Special guest. All my guests are special. You're certainly special to me in our own unique walk in life. We're going to talk a lot about that. But I appreciate you and love you. So Mandy Hamlin is here with me. So what I like to start with is, and this isn't a question on there,
Okay.
and we kind of did this a little bit downstairs. I kind of have this, but tell the world about you. Who are you? What do you do in your life? Who's your family? Whatever you want to share or not share professionally. I have a inkling that this episode will get lots of views. So let's start with who Mandy is.
Well, primarily I am a mom and a wife and a daughter. And I was born and raised here in Ellensburg.
Okay.
And I've spent my entire professional career working in the insurance industry.
Okay.
And
That's where we met.
Yeah.
Was when you were with Allstate out by McDonald's. You had an office there.
I had an agency.
I remember. Okay.
Sold that.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and then I'm a district sales leader for another carrier, and I love it, and it's been super fun for me to.
How'd you end up in the insurance industry?
Okay, so I actually I was married before Wade, and my husband and I had bought some snowmobiles, and I went to go get some insurance, and it was just so crazy expensive. So I went to the local State Farm office, and I was just in there, got a quote for everything.
Downtown?
Yeah. And Kathy Harris, who was my mentor, and Scott Rollins, they were my mentors. But Kathy Harris said, "Are you looking for a job?" And I actually worked at the hospital that time. I typed medical transcription for the imaging department.
You're going old school, aren't you?
Because I listened.
And what do they call it? Short?
No, not shorthand. I literally
wow.
type. So you'd listen to the radiologist and you'd type it out. And then
this wasn't shorthand. You were actually, how many words a minute can you do?
I mean, I don't know. It was a lot then.
Probably did a lot.
But yeah.
Okay, so you were doing that.
So I did
going
that.
to have this conversation about snowmobile insurance.
Yeah, and she's like, I must have been, maybe it was my personality because, I'm kind of interactive, right? Like
a little bit. Yeah.
And so she said, we're hiring. Oh. And I...
what year are we talking?
So that would have been in 98.
98? Okay.
Yeah. 99.
Yeah.
And so I did that. I applied for the job and I got hired and I treated it like a job. And one day I must have been being real crappy at what I was doing, which is highly likely because I'm in my 20s, right? And in your 20s, you're still learning how to maneuver life. And Kathy said to me one day, "Hey, man, are you going to treat this like a job or are you going to treat it like a career?" And I was very angry. And I left there and I felt... You
left meaning you quit?
No, I left that day. After work, I got on.
I'm picturing you like, "I'm out of here."
No, I didn't do that. I left there feeling very angry. Like, I couldn't believe she said that to me. I was like, how dare she? Rude.
Yeah.
And I went home that night and I probably cried. And then I thought long and hard about it. And I thought, I'm going to show her.
Okay.
And I wanted to be the first on the phones and I wanted to do all these things, right? And I was going to show her. And then I realized, this is actually really fun and I'm enjoying this. And so she got me and it worked really well. And that was just started my whole career.
Okay.
Started my whole career.
And you've been doing insurance ever since.
Yeah. Yep. Opened an agency.
Tell me about your family. So you and Wade are a blended family.
Yes.
No kids together?
No children together.
Tell me about your family.
So my first time I got married, I got married really young. It was like the next step. You have a couple kids.
Yeah.
And then it was like, ooh, okay, well, maybe we're growing apart. So we got divorced. I was single for quite a little while. Okay. Met Wade.
How long? Single?
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 years. Met Wade, and I kind of was like, tough girl, like, oh, okay, whatever. We'll see what happens.
You've been single for a while, single mom, independent.
Yeah. And one night...
Wade had to do some work.
Well, he didn't really.
Okay.
I thought he was super cool. I'll tell you this. You'll appreciate this because you're a motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
He I was like,
you guys ride, don't you?
yeah. So this was where I decided he could be my boyfriend, and he's going to die when I tell this story.
Good.
But
I hope he's watching.
it was during I had to go to a field trip for Riley. That's our oldest, my oldest daughter. And I followed the bus over in my car, and I was at the top of the pass, and he knew we were doing that, and he had to go to Seattle for something. Well, he had rode his Harley over that day, and I'm just standing there talking to all the moms, and this dude rolls in on this black Harley, and he comes like wheeling in.
Oh yeah,
and
everyone's looking,
right? And he pulls up between me and my friend, and
and
I'm like, whoa, like what the
Yeah.
hell? Like you don't recognize him, right?
Yeah.
I hadn't seen his face.
Yeah.
And he takes his shades off. He's like, hey, and I'm like, oh, hi.
Oh boy,
and I was
good work, Wade.
And then when he left, my friend
like-
Robin says, who's that? I'm like, well, that's my new boyfriend.
Oh my gosh! So he didn't even know yet.
He didn't know.
He became official.
Yeah,
That's
he's my new
awesome.
boyfriend. So, yeah, but
And how long ago was that?
we just celebrated our 16th wedding anniversary.
Okay.
So, about 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it's been great.
So kids.
Yep, we have 3. So Riley is our oldest. She's 27. She's a mom, and so we have 3 little beautiful granddaughters.
Oh, good.
She has a wonderful partner. His name's Austin, so that's fantastic. And then
They live here.
no, they live in Prosser.
Prosser.
He's a lineman, and he works
Oh,
for
yeah.
down there, and that's where the response time is. And he
Yep.
grew up down there and stuff. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they
Cool.
they just
Okay.
got a real nice
Not
house
too
down
far.
there. They're really enjoying life down there. And then Hunter, who is 23,
Okay.
and he is just fun, just like learning life, like still doing all the things 23-year-olds do, and you're just
Sure.
like, dude, why'd you do that? And
Yeah.
they always say, I don't know. And you're like, okay, cool.
I was just having fun.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh damn, don't have so much fun.
Okay.
Have
Lives
less
here?
fun. Yeah,
Okay.
lives here. Works for Wade.
Oh, okay.
And then of course we have Cooper,
Yep.
and he is, because it's a blended family. He'd be 23. He passed away when he was 20. So yeah,
It's been 3 years.
yeah, just about 3 years. It'll be 3 years on the 26th of March.
Does that seem about right? Does it seem longer or shorter?
Well, it kind of depends on the day.
Yeah, I bet
Right.
so.
So sometimes it's like, man, I haven't talked to him so long.
Hmm.
And then some days it's like, it just happened. Right.
Mhm.
So, but I think the cool thing about grief is that it ebb and flows. So the days that are bad are just, they're not bad
Hmm.
forever. Right.
Temporary.
They're a moment,
Yeah.
and you know that and work through it. Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 kids,
3 kids.
married 16 together, 18.
Mhm.
Me and Katrina kind of right behind you guys in that
Yeah.
trajectory there. No kids together.
Nope.
So Wade, are one of the kids his?
Hunter.
Hunter.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
girl and
So Riley and Cooper are
your-
mine and
yep,
Mark's.
yours. Yeah.
And then
How old were they when you guys got together? They're kids.
Yeah. So the boys were like 3, 4. They're actually more
Young.
like 4-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Riley was older, obviously, because she's older than them. And she put Wade through hell because, you're not my dad.
Oh,
But she
yeah.
wasn't mean to him, but
No,
she
but,
just was,
yeah.
she was a little harder on him.
Yeah. Okay.
And, but they have a very close, special relationship.
And you don't have to answer this, but do you guys all talk to the exes?
Oh yeah, we get along
Yeah,
good.
okay.
So we actually don't have a strong relationship with Wade's ex-wife.
Sure.
She doesn't live here.
Sure.
She has a different life.
Yeah.
But I made a decision when I got a divorce that just because Mark and I couldn't be together, I wasn't going to make my kids feel bad about that.
Good for you.
And I couldn't ever say anything bad about Wade, and I have never said bad things about the other parents, even if they piss you off, which is super cool, right? You get on each other's
Sure,
nerves.
sure.
Because if you didn't, you'd still be married, right? Yeah.
I always
So-
say, there's a reason people
Right.
got
So,
divorced.
we get on each other's nerves.
Yeah.
And I never wanted my kids, they're half of that person. I never wanted them to feel bad about that. And so it's not their fault that Mark and I couldn't stay married. We're actually really good friends. I would consider his wife one of my closest friends. We spend a lot of time together. We get to do holidays together.
Good.
And it's really special because my kids don't have to pick.
Yeah. And isn't that a powerful message to kids that are grow up to be adults to see that positive behavior?
Yeah, because, when Riley was having her babies, she didn't have to think, oh, should I have my mom or my dad come?
Yeah.
or when we did high school graduations or birthday parties. It wasn't
Who do I invite?
Yeah.
What time are they going to come? Oh God, do I got to manage the conflict? Oh boy.
Yes. Yeah. So that was never we just didn't want that for our kids.
Yeah. I worked in the wedding industry for years, and I heard a lot of that. Like, oh, the in-laws are coming, or my mom's ex-husband, and how do we manage? Oh wow, how about we just act like adults?
Yeah, exactly. Like, who love your kids more than you dislike your ex?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Right?
So born and raised in Ellensburg.
Yeah.
How far back does your family go in Ellensburg?
Gosh.
And your maiden name?
Is Rab.
Rab, yeah.
And my mom was raised here. She actually graduated from Thorpe. Her parents were from, like, my grandma was from Minnesota and my grandpa was from Oklahoma. And then my dad, interestingly enough, is from New Jersey. Oh. And what happened was he joined the Army. Okay. Which is really cool because after this, he gets his Quilt of Valor.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, that's a great thing. Yes. Good for him.
So anyway, he was on the East Coast and he got stationed at Fort Lewis. Okay. And
how does he find Ellensburg?
Well, my uncle is in the military. Okay. And he comes home on leave, like, cause like on break or whatever, Easter. I don't know what it was for. Leave, I think it was Easter cause if the story fits my memory right. But anyway, he just showed up and my mom thought, he talked funny and, and whatever. He was just like a little too jazzy or something. And he had told my uncle, I'm going to marry your sister. And my uncle's like, oh, okay. And then like 6 months later, they were engaged. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Super cool. Here in Ellensburg.
Yeah. And they got married I think they had their wedding reception at the Fairview Grange.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Still there.
Yeah. Yeah. And cool. And so, yeah.
And you live out that way? No, Fairview's the other side. Yeah. I was thinking of my Steph's Grange. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all that. That's really cool. And one of the cool things about hosting these is I get to learn more about friends that you already kind of know about. Yeah. So that's really cool. And I really appreciate you talking about parenting with blended families and making a decision as a mom that, hey, just because me and the dad couldn't get along doesn't mean I have to put that on the kids. Yeah. Me and Tyler's mom, his mom has passed, but we kind of made that decision too. We weren't together most of his life. 6 months we had a divorce, and I say most of the time, nearly all the time, even through my crazy period and her crazy periods of life happening, and Tyler says this to this day that, we didn't put each other down. We tried to always, like, she was always one of my biggest champions. Yeah. Even in my dark years. So good for you for making that conscious decision. And I think that then creates great parents when those kids grow up. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I hope, we're leading by example. Like, right? Like, we are leading by example, aren't we? Yeah. Yeah. You heard me say that our kids are watching. They're always watching. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Always. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You want to do a question? Oh, I forgot. Here. Yes. Finally. I have your book. I'm so excited. That is yours. Signed. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm so excited. Oh, gosh, you guys are awesome. Okay, let's do a question. You've experienced a loss that no parent should ever have to face. How has losing your child shaped the way you move through the world today? That's a great question, and it's an interesting question, and I love it because just 6 months ago, Riley and I were driving down the road and I'm like, hey, how do you think we've changed since we lost Cooper? And it's funny because I think it's made me softer, not weaker, softer, meaning not bitter, more empathetic. Wow. More tolerant of things that where in the past I'd be like, okay, just toughen up. I'm like, well, maybe there's a reason they feel like this. Like maybe there's something heavy going on we don't know about in the background, right? It's also made me realize what really matters. We talked earlier, I built a career, and for so long, a lot of my worth was caught up in the job, in who I was in my career. Yeah. And
the accolades and the tangible things. And then when you lose the child, you're like, actually, I don't really give a shit about this car or this ring or this job. Like perspective really shifts for you. And then you're like, okay, actually, maybe that stuff doesn't matter as much. Don't get me wrong. I still love having a nice car and having nice things, like duh, but it makes you really realize the value of what matters. Right. So there's a couple parts of that. So sometimes I see things and people are just freaked out about stuff. And I'm like, gosh, you guys, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like it's
in the bigger scope of things. Yeah.
But the flip side is it's made me softer, not weaker, softer. Yeah. Like, maybe that person has something else going on that we're not aware of. And again, before we lost Cooper, I really cared what other people thought. Okay. Because I was building a brand, which was me in my career. And when I lost Cooper, I realized that didn't really matter. And maybe I needed to be a little more transparent about what was going on in real life, because there's a lot of people that have a lot of stuff going on that they are keeping quiet and just living life in the highlight reels.
We don't talk about.
Yeah. So that's probably the stuff that's changed me the most about it.
Yeah. If I may ask, and it's okay, his sister, how's she with it all? She's
doing good.
Riley's, I guess the whole family.
Yeah, the family's doing good. I'm glad you brought up the sister and Hunter, his brother. In grief, I think everybody, when someone's child dies, everybody's worried about the mom. Everybody. Yeah. It's normal.
It's kind of like divorce. So we don't think about the kids. Yeah. We actually say, oh, the kids are fine.
They're resilient. And like siblings, when they lose someone, they're expected to just be like, they'll be fine. They'll go through it.
Gotta be there for your mom.
Yeah. And probably about 6 months after Cooper passed away, Riley and I were talking one day, and she's like, I just feel like, I don't want to tell you if I'm having a sad day because I don't want to make you sad. And I'm like, oh, honey, you can't make me sad. Like that doesn't make me sad I want you to be able to come to me and talk about that. So, we have moments where we talk about things and she has good and bad days like everybody else. But overall, her and Hunter have done a really good job maneuvering this grief. And here's a little special thing, and I think it's special. Austin, who is her boyfriend, he has lost a brother as well. Oh. And so they have that in common. And so I think that's a really great support for them, for each other. Yeah. Like it's nice to have a partner that knows, like, I'm just having a bad day. Yeah. And they're like, okay, I get it. Yeah.
Because they're walking through that same thing.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the kids are doing pretty good.
What helped you in those first 6 months following his death? What helped you?
I had 2 people say stuff to me that almost immediately after Cooper passed away that I knew I couldn't just lay down and not get back up. It was 2 things. The first person was Wade, and he said something to me that at the time I was just kind of listening, but I had to absorb it. And he said, honey, I know you're going to be sad for a really long time, and that's fine by me. You can be sad forever. But I'm scared for our family because you're our happy. And I was like, oh. And he didn't mean like it's your responsibility to make sure we're happy. What he meant is you bring the joy, like you're the magic in the house. And I'm afraid that'll go away. And
so he was just fearful.
Yeah.
Wasn't judging you, wasn't saying you need to be different, but just saying, hey, I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah. So that really stuck with me. And that taught me almost instantly, like I could never stop trying to find joy, even in my darkest moments, because I never want Riley or Hunter or my 3 grandkids to ever feel like my love for Cooper was so much greater that I stopped living and loving for them as well.
And you see that happen. And I'm not faulting any parents. No. But you do see that happen.
Happens a lot.
The 100% of the focus becomes the death of that child.
Yeah. 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 So that was the first person that said something. The other person that said something to me was, it was my sister-in-law, Jessie. But so one of my best friend, her, she lost her brother, who I graduated from high school with, when he was 20 years old. Okay. And Cooper was 20 when he passed away. So when her mom came to the house, like the day after, and gave me a hug, I had a moment where I was like, oh, I'm the Virginia Woolard of my kids' generation, right? Like, I'm the mom that's lost the 20-year-old. So now all of his friends are going to be like, that's Cooper's mom. Like, that's what you just remember when you're young. Because when you're young, you don't lose a lot of your friends.
Yeah.
And I said that to my sister-in-law, and she said, yep, you are. But I want you to remember something. The Woollards have had a lot of joy in their lives since they lost Brad.
Okay.
And they've had a lot of love and joy. So you've got to remember that. And I thought, oh, damn. Well, she's right about that too. So, those were the two things. That was helpful for you. Those two things really helped me. So the first 6 months were pretty miserable. But I also knew that those first 6 months, I was going to live again. I was going to live again. And it's just really hard to not live if you know there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? And there's not a thing where, there's like this in my mind, I'm like, oh, in a year I'll feel better. And in 5 years I'll feel better. I don't actually know if I will. Yeah. But what's really cool about it is I know that there's always going to be an opportunity for joy.
Yeah. It's good.
And also Cooper was really joyful and bright and sunny. So does he really want his mom to just give up? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always remind people when talking about grief that there's no one way for a person to process grief, and there's no timeline for grief, right? Yeah. So, but I think you had those two people. You probably had more, but those people around you who, what I'm hearing, supported you in a way that helped you have hope, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I have a big community of people that loved me and helped me through a lot of different things. And, the random little, Cooper, this is Cooper's shirt.
Oh, nice.
That's why I'm wearing it.
Oh, cool.
He loved mushrooms and stuff, a little hippie.
Right.
And so the surprise little mushroom things and the fun little interactions and the, hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm thinking about you text. Like those things matter so much. So if you know somebody that's lost someone, the random just thinking about you goes so far. The small touches just are so huge.
They mean a lot.
Yeah, they really do. Because that's probably the biggest fear is that people just forget.
And this question is for educational purposes. Yeah. It's not meant to disparage people because I think we react in ways, a couple of reasons. We're uncomfortable or we don't know what to say. So we do what I say, we say stupid shit, right? To someone who's just lost a child. So if someone's listening out there and they know a friend who's just lost a child, what are things to not do and not say?
Oh my gosh. Probably the biggest one is he's in a better place. And it's not meant that way. But in that deep grief moment, it feels hard and it's hard to hear.
Because what are you hearing?
He's better off where he's at. And to a mom, you're like, there's nowhere better than to be with their baby should be with them, right? Yeah. Like, give me a break. And that's never meant that way. It's never meant that way. But when you're sad, you feel that way in every moment. So there's that. And probably the other one that was a little shocking to me was when people would be like, well, after the first Christmas or after the first birthday,
it'll be better.
And actually, in full transparency, the first everything are hard, but you're so raw that it's like, okay. And it's almost the buildup that's worst, at least for me. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but the buildup is the worst part, right? Like the prepping, like, oh, it's Christmas. So now I've got like the 22nd, the 23rd.
Because it's not just Christmas. There's a whole bunch of things that happen that run up to those periods of time. So you're just like, you're scared that you're going to have a bad day. So you build up this weird, icky feeling. And so that the first are not really that as hard for me as, oh, damn, this will be the third whatever, and
So that's probably where it's harder because it just cements it more. It's more real. Yeah.
And what are those things? You gave a couple examples, but that just you remember as being really helpful that many people did that was like, that was helpful, that people said or did.
Oh, the text messages, the calls. I had 2 people. So we don't have photo albums anymore.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And my friend Tiffany, I had said something about how Riley had said, we don't even have any real pictures anymore. And she just went on my Facebook and stole a bunch of pictures and went down and printed them and literally brought them to my house. And then Rhonda surprised me with a really beautiful book one day. I'm very
Those tangible things you can hold on to.
I'm super transparent on my grief journey and on all my journeys. I think that's pretty obvious by my social media.
Yeah.
And so they just borrowed things off of there. So it's kind of fun because what was really neat about the book that was made for me is I got to see it wasn't just what was special to me, but what she thought was special.
Yeah.
So, those are the things. And then there's always it's always nice to, I don't know, have someone offer to do something for you, whatever. But here's the thing. And I've done this a million times. If you need anything, let me know.
Yeah.
You ever going to ask someone to do something for you?
No.
Yeah. So just show up and do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Show up
Be intentional.
Yeah. Just show up and wash my dishes or just show up. And it doesn't have to be that big of a deal.
Big or glamorous or
Yeah. So.
Very good. Okay. Another question?
Yeah. Lay it on me.
Your advocacy.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna preface this when I open the question up, so people that are listening that don't know, they'll have some idea. But you'll give some context too. But your advocacy comes from lived pain and deep love. What pushed you to turn grief into action, especially around changing the treatment system? So, a little context for those that are watching or listening. He was in treatment.
Yeah, he was.
And overdosed and died.
That's correct.
He was out of state. He was literally thousands of miles away.
Correct.
In a whole different treatment system. And I'm guessing a treatment entity that you shopped, you looked at, you researched.
Yes, vetted it.
Yep, vetted it. So that's the context. So what pushed you to then turn your grief, anger, I don't know, all these feelings into action, especially around changing the treatment system?
Well,
what have you learned, I guess?
Yeah. Oh, man. I learned a lot. So here's the thing. When Cooper was needing help and wanted help, as anybody that knows, when they have someone that needs treatment, when somene's ready to go, you're like, let's roll.
You got to go. There's a small window of opportunity.
Yeah. We're making this happen.
Okay.
And, it was February and it's cold and icky in Ellensburg. And so I was like, where do you want to go, son?
Okay.
And so he wanted to go to California. I was like, that's going to be great because the weather's mild and, and it just fit his personality better. We did some research, found this incredible facility. They accepted private health insurance. And it was all hands on deck. Like, let's go. Sent him down there. He thought he was doing fine. Interacted with him every day, multiple times probably. And just felt like he was safe. Okay. Right? When someone you love is in treatment, you're like, oh, that's guess what I get to, I'm going to sleep so good for the next 90 days. As a mom,
they're in a safe place. Kind of like when someone's in the hospital, you can, the doctors are there, same thing here. He's in treatment.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was doing all those things and feeling really confident in that. And then I missed it. I was actually going over with Wade to fly one day. Okay. We were at the mall. I missed a call. It was a California number. And I had a voicemail that he was unresponsive. Yeah, that's how I found out. It was by voicemail. And so in my mind at that moment in that mall, I was like, I have to get to California. Yeah, he's going to be in the hospital. It didn't register. And Wade's like, get in the car. We're driving home. And then they called back and because they clearly understood that I was like, I need to update on my son. Like they put the pieces together that I didn't understand and told me he had passed away. So, you gather at the house, you do all the things. Well, guess what happens when you lose your child? You stop sleeping. Almost immediately. So, then you get on the social medias. And so like maybe the day after Cooper died, I just researched my son died in rehab just to see what would happen. And I got a lot of pings on that.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, what? This is normal? Like, this is normal?
So you had no idea.
No,
of the dangers.
No, I didn't. And so then I thought, well, how did he get a hot pill in a rehab facility? Like, what? And so I just kept digging around. And I found this really neat lady. Her name is Carrie. She lives in California as well. She lost a daughter in rehab. I friend requested her. Like, come on. Like, I was grasping at anybody and anything. And the more research I did, the more I realized that California especially doesn't have a lot of the same regulations that other states do. And so they don't have
to jump through any hoops to open a facility.
No, and just for transparency, on their website, when you look at the facility, you see a facility. So in your mind, you drive by like sundown, you're like, that's a rehab facility, right? Yep. So when my husband and my 2 other children flew down to get Cooper's belongings, he called.
You didn't go?
No, I couldn't go. I just couldn't do it.
But so
they flew down. 2 days after Cooper passed away, and he texted me and he said, "Hey, Mandy, do you know this is a house at the end of a cul-de-sac in a neighborhood?" And I was like, well, what?
What?
It was a 6-bedroom house.
This was an inpatient treatment facility.
Because the laws and the rules are not, it's wild. It's wild. So that's when I just knew, like, this is screwed up. And
something's not right.
I'm not the only mom or sister or parent or whatever. I'm not the only person, spouse, whatever, that's losing these people. And this is a cash cow for them. This is just a way for them to make a shit.
I'm guessing this was a for-profit entity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
And
I want to say that's not, I shouldn't, there are reputable for-profit treatment entities out there, but they tend to be more of the ones that need to be shut down because the main goal is to make money.
Yeah. Their goal wasn't to help people. No. Their goal was to make money. So the more I did, and I want to be very clear about this, I don't know this about this facility, but the more investigation I did, the more I also realized they have, typically what happens is people buy these houses. I think 6-bedroom is the threshold. I'm not 100% sure on that because I can't quite get the answer. But where you don't have to have as many guidelines, right? They also don't take state insurance because it's regulated a little bit heavier.
Yeah, if you have state, you have to jump through hoops.
Yeah. So, and they don't get as much money. So they get these contracts with private healthcare companies, health insurance companies, right? They get all these licensings. They do these BS accreditations.
This sounds like recovery houses, not inpatient treatment centers.
That's what it sounds like, but it is. It's medical.
Billed as
it's medical inpatient rehab facilities.
And that's what you saw on the website.
Yeah. So, what happens is they get this approval. I've got all the documentation. They basically said, Cooper needs 24-hour medical care.
Yeah.
24-hour patient medical care. And so the insurance company, approves it. And they send them to detox. Detox typically lasts 7 to 10 days. They get to bill your insurance company around $9,000 a day. And then when they go to regular inpatient treatment, it's around $4,000 to $5,000 a day.
But this was in a house at a cul-de-sac in a neighborhood.
A cul-de-sac in a neighborhood where they just talk. They don't have a doctor. They don't have, they do telehealth. They were doing telehealth. So there were some things that happened, right? And
were there any clinicians there that you know of?
No, not that I'm aware of. So what we discovered was they were doing everything they could to fly under the radar, right?
Oh yeah.
And we just, I'm just pissed as a mom that my kid died there.
Getting angry.
So I kept digging and digging and digging. And when somebody dies in a facility, the state is supposed to investigate it.
Yeah.
So the state of California is very hard to maneuver. It's very hard to figure this out. It took me a long time, but I finally figured out who I needed to talk to.
Okay.
And somehow I got lucky and I talked to this lady and she just said, I know the person you need to talk to. I think this is who's handling this case. So I reached out to the state, the person that was handling the investigation, the state investigator. And I said, hey, listen, somebody is going to be held accountable for the death of my son.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't know if it's the state of California. I don't know if it's the facility. I don't know if it's the guy that brought the pill. I don't know who it is, but somebody is I'm going to get some kind of justice. And ironically, she did a really good job investigating this facility.
Okay.
And they found 9 deficiencies in Cooper's death, like breach of confidentiality, the fact that they didn't have they weren't doing 24-hour hourly checks on him, none of that stuff. The fact that people could come and go from the facility. There was a lot of stuff that came out.
So let's stop calling it a facility from this house. I mean, it's not a facility.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right. So they found like 9 deficiencies in that, and it prompted them to investigate. This is a company that owns multiple houses.
Of course they do.
Yeah, because it's a cash cow.
Of course.
So they get these houses, these homes, and they continued to investigate, and they found a lot of deficiencies in them. What sucks about the deficiencies is you're like, yes, we're shutting them down. Yes, we're winning. So the fine for the death of my son was about $2,300. So again, I could sit at home and cry and feel mad, or I could be like, what? Yeah. No, this isn't right. There's something has to change. So are we going to change all those facilities? No. Are we going to make a difference in that aspect? Probably not. I mean, there's so much going on, right, with it. But what really I would love to see happen, and I'm learning how to facilitate this. This is not as easy as everybody's like, oh, you just need to do it. And I'm like, okay,
good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sign me up twice.
Yeah, right.
Those facilities, there needs to be, and I feel very strongly about this, there needs to be a system in place where maybe it's federally mandated or whatever. Every licensed rehab facility in the country has some sort of a rating system. So then it says, okay, this facility, has had, 2 breach of confidentialities right. So that when you're looking for a place to send your loved one, you can look it up. I'm an insurance agent. You can look at my license. You can look if I've ever had any complaints against me, all those things. My husband's a contractor. You can look at his contractor's license.
Same with the preschool. I mean, if we have anything, someone can look it up.
Yeah.
As they should be able to.
Right. And it doesn't even have to be founded. Like, it doesn't have to be like, it could be just like, this was an investigation.
Yep.
Yes. And so while, yes, they can't share private medical information about a person, it still needs to be something where we can say, look, this facility is rated like this. And I think that would keep honest people honest. And I think it might vet out some of those bad things because they don't want to deal with it. Yeah. And that would also force a little more regulation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an industry that I've seen. I've watched a lot of documentaries about Florida specifically, but I'm not surprised California. These bigger states with less regulation are fraught with issues in this industry, and it is an industry that, number one, there's a bunch of stigma surrounding addiction as it is, and I think the part of why this flies under the radar a lot of times because people don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
And people just want to put a Band-Aid on it. And it's a health condition that's just still to this day not taken seriously.
Right.
And my educated guess is that, they're like, well, he made a choice and blah, 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 all this garbage that happens. So it's I'm not surprised to hear.
I'm not either.
I'm actually shocked. I was getting angry sitting here, all the knowledge I have in this industry, that, wow, an inpatient treatment facility, but it was a house in a fucking cul-de-sac. Yeah. Like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah. So a house in a cul-de-sac with 6 bedrooms, and each room had access. And actually, this person was able to, and remember, Cooper is not from California.
No.
He doesn't live in California.
No.
He was able to get the person's information from somehow inside that facility.
I'm not surprised
Right.
at all.
Which
based on the
that's
structure.
normal,
Yeah.
right? Because probably not normal, but
No.
you would, I mean, not normal, but you would talk amongst people.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, sure,
right.
sure.
And find maybe a connection that way, but it was delivered to the facility.
Yeah.
And you said something that I want to bring up. You said, when people say, well, it was his choice. And when people say that, I'm like, you're dumb. Like, that's just a dumb thing to say. But when I think about that, I have an answer for those people. When they say, well, because it's like if you are so fortunate as to never experience someone that's had some sort of addiction, whether it's alcoholism, drug, whatever, right? Gambling addiction.
Yeah.
I don't know what your addiction is, but if you never experienced that, you're very fortunate.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
if you are one of those people that are like, well, it's your choice, you may, the F around and find out kind of thing, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I want to say, okay, cool. Do you buy health insurance?
Yeah.
Because guess what? These places that I want to make a change in, they're stealing your money.
Yeah.
Because guess how do you think they're paying those bills? Through your premium dollars.
Yeah.
So now does that bother you?
Yeah.
Is that something you can get behind as a consumer?
I like that you talk about that, because the area I always talk about is tax dollars.
Yeah.
We're paying taxes to send people to treatment, and a lot of these treatment facilities or houses need to be shut down.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes that helps people.
Yeah.
But ignorance is bliss, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Not knowing, and again, an industry that is fraught with stigma and shame and guilt, and it's the one health condition that we do it the most with.
Yeah.
Is addiction.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Because if someone was sick with anything else, we'd just be like, we just got to get them the best.
Let's get them help.
Mm-hmm. And everybody stops what they're doing. They're like, what can I do to help?
That's right.
And with this, they're like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Should have saw that coming. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And in
a lot of times, while they're drinking their alcohol, saying it's okay. Alcohol is okay, but well, drugs, that's bad. Well, what's the difference?
Yeah, right. Like
no
whatever
difference.
your vice is still a vice, right? Like people have them all the time.
Let's do another question.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about this, so you can expand on it a little bit if you want, maybe some different views. You've been outspoken about gaps in care and accountability when it comes to treatment. From your perspective, what needs to change most? So maybe think of the big things to better protect and support people seeking recovery or seeking treatment. What are the big things? If you are in a position of power, what would you change based on your experience?
Well, probably the biggest one would be, oh, wow, that's a great question.
And maybe let's do this. Maybe go backwards, because you and I had conversations about Cooper along the way before he went to California. Maybe just thinking about the whole of having a young person who needs help, thinking about systems of care.
Oh, there's. I mean,
what are the ones you struggled with the most? The areas that you would change if you could?
It's hard to find. There's just not enough facilities. That's like that. There's not enough places that really care, if the truth be told, like that really care.
Can you describe that?
That want to get granular with him, that want to not just check the boxes. It wasn't Cooper's first time in rehab. We've gone to a couple different ones. And you got to be really careful. Like, is it a co-diagnosis? It's like
occurring.
Yeah, right. What, is it just, and not a one size fits all. There's not a one size fits all. That's really important.
Yeah.
And
especially for youth, right?
Yeah, especially. And what I found that was interesting is they were taking Cooper as like a 17, 18-year-old and putting him with like 55-year-old men. He's still a kid. Like he doesn't have, a mortgage and all these things. Like he doesn't have those life experiences.
Yeah.
So how can he get in front of people, and how can he, how can he be really transparent with who he is? So I think that was probably one of the hardest ones. It just honestly, just finding even just a guidance counselor that was that would talk to him, like not a guy, like a therapist or something, that was hard as well. And it's so much about timing. And if the timing is off, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, you speak to two realities of the industry as a whole in our healthcare system, and especially talking about youth. Just globally speaking, for youth, adults, for everyone, there's not enough care out there. And then I hear what you're saying about, I think a lot of facilities, places, they're just the system. There's just keep that wheel churning of the system, and there's not really true individualized care. Would that be?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Also, the pressure, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on some of the people inside those facilities working them. And so, they have a caseload, right? Yeah. So they're so heavily bombarded. Like it's so much that it changes. It's no longer like, what do you need, David? Yeah. It's like, okay, so you've done this. Now you're going to do this class. Just checking boxes. Now you're going to do this class. Yeah. And how'd that make you feel? Okay, well, you know what? Here's a worksheet on how to handle your tool. Here's your tools for your toolbox. And off they go. And
this isn't a hit on the professionals working in the field.
Not at all.
But the system causes this to happen.
Well, they have like, it's kind of like when you go to your doctor's office and they've got you scheduled for 45 minutes, but you really probably need an hour and 15.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what's happening, I noticed. And sometimes that's not all of them. Like Cooper had this one gal that he really just bonded with and enjoyed. And they would spend a lot of time talking, and she would be like, okay, we're not going to worry about that today. Cause she wanted to spend the time getting to know him. And I think that was a better setup. And I think that's how people are as a whole. So it is no disrespect to the folks working so hard in there. It's just, there's such a big caseload. They're so short staffed. They don't have a lot of room. And then they're also dealing with a lot of different emotions, right? So they're working on, they might be sitting with you and doing this, but then there's some chaos down the hall.
Yeah, that they know they have to deal with.
They're like, our time's over. We got to do that. Like, it's just too thin.
And, locally in our county, we have 0 inpatient facilities. We do have Sundown, which is just outside of our county. They do have a youth program. But that might be it unless you go to the west side, which is good luck getting in, or Spokane, which maybe you can get in. But in our region, Central Washington, which is a big region with a lot of people, we don't have a lot youth specific.
Yeah.
And then we get into, fortunate for you, oh God, this pisses me off, but you guys actually were fortunate. You had the ability, you had private insurance and able to pay to have Coop sent down to California, and we know the result of that. So then imagine families who don't. Then they're stuck with the state system that for sure has those issues of just churning. Let's just get them in, get them out, get them in, get them out. So it's a huge, huge issue.
And one thing about that is, so if you didn't have, say like you just don't have healthcare. Yeah. And you don't qualify for state healthcare. Yeah. Right.
A lot of people.
So now what are you doing? If your child or your spouse or your loved one, right, is sick.
Do you remember by chance how much that facility was? That house?
It was $9,000 a day when he was in detox, and $4,200 a day when he was in regular outpatient in a 90-day stint.
So imagine what you're talking about.
Regular inpatient.
Inpatient. That scenario where you have healthcare with high deductible or just doesn't have that.
So what's happening? What also happens, and is total bullshit, because they don't have health insurance. What would you give to save your loved one's life? You'd give anything, right? Yeah. You would pull money out of your 401k. You would take money off your house. You'll do whatever it takes to facilitate these things, because that's what we do when we want to save the people we love. None of that stuff matters. Only the people matter. So these predatory facilities are capitalizing on that. Yeah. And that's a problem.
It's a huge problem.
That's why they need to be vetted and they need to be cleaned up. And, it's just, and there's no way to find out. I mean, that's not completely true. I could have done a records request on every facility in the state of California, but again, Your window's this big. You don't have time for that crap. And you don't even think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also an industry that is shrouded in a lot of secrecy.
Yeah.
Because of, HIPAA, which we want HIPAA.
Right.
But a lot of facilities hide behind that too, right? And they're acting unethically in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
All right. One more question for
Yes,
you,
sir.
and then we'll do our closing questions. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. How we doing out there? Oh, we've got a lot of people. Hey, Alicia.
Hi, Alicia.
Nice. Okay. I've always, truly, like even more so now, but I've always appreciated your friendship and the way you show up in the world. It says for this work, but just in the world, because you're just a good human all around. What has community and connection meant to you as you've navigated your grief and now advocacy in this arena?
I think it's important that we show all the good and the bad, right? I'm super transparent in that. If I have a shitty day, I have a shitty day, and that's okay to say that. And because I've allowed myself to be vulnerable, I think that's a way that I've shown up for my community, and I think it helps others feel like they can be vulnerable.
Yes, it does.
Right? Like it's okay. And because I've been able to be transparent, I think it's helped me move through this really hard stage in my life, really hard moments in my life, right? But it's also helped me create relationships that are valuable in all the different ways, both with like my goals and aspirations to make Cooper's legacy a really meaningful one, but also in just having a cool friendship with people and that kind of stuff. So the connection to community is really important to me. Also, I think it's important that we remember we're just peopling.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody is doing that.
Yeah.
And they're doing the best they can with what they have. And if we are really good at knowing that, we're really good at building a great community and a great foundation to do big things. Anything I want to do, I can't do by myself.
Yeah.
And so I've been really fortunate to have the people I have in my corner. Yeah. And it's wild to me, the amount of people that will just randomly message me and say, hey, you're on my mind. And then that feels good, right? So then I try to copy that and I try to reach out and go, you know what? Maybe this person just needs to hear this. And, Wade and I are big believers in karma. And I think what we put out, we'll get back.
Yeah.
So community's basically what's made me survive through this.
It's so true. Just talking about, because my overall mantra in life is to help every individual I interact with see they have it within them to do amazing things, right? Yeah. And for me, that comes from having walked the walk that I have walked through my own life, which, because I'm pretty public about it. And, when I'm out in the world, I try as best I can on a daily basis to have that mindset of, I don't know what one person may be going through, good, bad, or ugly in any given scenario. And so, community for me, like you, is where it's at.
Yeah.
It's where we can have the most effect on change then that karma thinks. I believe in karma too. I believe 100%. What I'm putting out is going to come back. I've seen it, right? I've felt it. It happens. So the more that I, as a community member, and you as a community member, even when things aren't good, we keep using our community in positive ways, that has a ripple effect. I really believe that to be true.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about our community. That's one of the many things I love about our little community of Ellensburg and Kittitas County is, when shit happens, we rally.
Yeah. That is fair.
We rally. We've got our problems for sure.
Yeah.
We like to bitch about stuff, but And also, the good stuff. We have a lot of good in our community. And I've always, we're going to go into the closing questions. I want to say to you and everyone out there, I've always appreciated your support of the recovery community in Pittsburgh. And this was, before you lost your son, and, and even more so after.
Yeah.
Because I say this about loss when it's one of my worst fears in life, and you've probably heard that, losing my son or now my grandson's just like, so I really listen closely to you and my other friends who have lost either kids or grandkids. I listen closely because you just never know.
Right.
I've always appreciated your support. When you put the KCRCO, which is now Peers Rising, as a beneficiary of the fundraising, you and I have had great conversations along the way. I just remembered what I was going to say. No one out there listening or watching this, as they've listened to this, would fault you if you were angry, or bitter, or closed. No one would fault you for that. But you've made a conscious decision. What I've heard through this conversation is you've made a conscious decision based on information that people close to you have, hey, we need you. Yeah. We want you here. Mm-hmm. And you've said it yourself, wearing Coop's shirt here. He wants your light here. Yeah. And that's a powerful thing. Yeah.
Cooper was everything good. I might get a little teared up here. Cooper was everything good. Beautiful, loving, smart, articulate. He didn't want to feel bad about himself, and he didn't want to be sick. And that's what it is. Yeah. And he hated that part about himself. Mm-hmm. He didn't hate himself. He hated that part of himself. Mm-hmm. And I think the best way I could honor him is to live all of the parts of Cooper and show up stronger than he was able to do for himself. Yeah. And I will say this, and I tell everybody this: when you lose somebody you love, any way you want to feel is okay. Yeah. And one important takeaway that Wade also shared with me, man, he's very smart. But he shared something with me, and I was just I was pissed off and cranky, and I was fighting with him, not about dumb stuff. Like it's like you're agitated. There's a lot of friction there.
I never irritate Katrina.
Yeah. I never irritate Wade. I never. But I must have just been being pissy, and probably because I was sad. But I was fighting it. And I kept like, and he said, hey, can I say something? I'm like, yeah. He's like, when you feel sad like that, he's like, if you have the flu and you say, I don't feel good, I've got the flu, you just go to bed and no one bugs you. Yeah. He's like, do that and work through it. Yeah. So then you can show up the next day. Yeah. And that gave me permission, and I didn't need it, but sometimes you have to hear it, right? Because in your mind, you set your own these rules for yourself. Yeah. In your mind, you have these rules. So that gave me permission. So I'll have mornings where I get up and I'm feeling great, and I take a shower, ball my face off, and then I'm like, whew, I got that over with. Now let's get the day going. And so that's just what I mean. That's probably my recommendation. Anybody grieving, like, give into it, but don't give up to it.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. I want to share this with you. I'll go ahead and use this one. That is me.
I love it.
You see that one. They can't see it, but I have a picture on my wall of me as about a 6-7-year-old boy with my Tonka truck. That's grandson Anthony. And you'll appreciate this. No child, as they're growing up, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, no child ever is growing up and it doesn't happen in the preschool, 3 to 5 years old. Right. No child ever, as they're walking through their life, says, one day I want to become addicted to drugs. Right. One day I want to become an alcoholic or a drug addict. No child ever does that. That doesn't happen. Children want to live. They want to be in the world. They want to have great experiences, right? Yeah. And we put so much attachment to, well, they made a choice and they did this and they did that, instead of just maybe having some empathy and understanding that, number one, it's a health condition, right? It's a behavioral health condition. And you know this as well as anyone else, that addiction doesn't care.
No.
Doesn't care your age, your economic status, the color of your skin, none of that.
None.
And when we start looking at a substance use disorder as the health condition it is, then we can have a little more empathy and understanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The thing with Cooper, he was my kid that flew under the radar. If you told me when he was like middle school that we were going to have this journey, I'd have laughed in your face. He was my rule follower. He was very, it was very, very shocking to me. I had some rose-colored glasses on.
Sure.
And then when I realized, it took me a while. This wasn't like a teenage kid trying something and then, for funsy. He was battling some depression and anxiety, and he was trying to quiet that noise.
Yep.
And so his drug of choice was Xanax to start with, so he could quiet that noise. And that was really eye-opening to me, because he was also my kid that you would never knew. You'd have never known that. Yeah. Like, hey, buddy. He's like, hey, mom. He was just like, and so never. Yeah. And my other two kids, like if they were having a bad day or pissed off or super happy, you knew. Yeah. But you didn't know that with Cooper. Yeah. Now, that didn't mean he didn't have moments where he lost his shit because he's a teenager, right? Like they all do that, or little kids. But he flew under the radar really, really hard for me. And it was, at first I almost didn't even believe it. At first I was almost like, is this some weird attention thing? Like it took me a while. And then once I realized, I was like, oh gosh, man, we got to get you some help. And we worked on that. I mean, I leaned into you. I was like, David, we talk to my son? Like, and I thank you so much for that, and being so willing instantly. You were like, yep, come on over, bring him over, whatever you need, or I'll meet you. Like, it was really, really, empowering actually. So, anyway, yeah,
good. Okay. Now's your time.
Okay.
To anyone listening to this now, a month from now, a year from now, maybe a mom who's struggling with a child who's in active addiction, maybe a mom who's just lost a child.
Yeah.
Maybe someone, an individual who's just struggling in some way with life. It's your opportunity to send a message of hope.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's struggling, maybe in the arena that you've struggled in?
Yeah. If you have somebody in active addiction, don't be ashamed of it.
Oh, wow.
I had an image to uphold. I'm being pretty vulnerable here. I had an image to uphold. I had a business I was running. I had my shit together. Okay. I'm firing all cylinders. Right. And then in the backside, all hell's breaking loose in my mind, right? With my child. And I would say, don't be ashamed of that and lean into your people, and you'll know who those people are real quick.
Yeah.
And lean into them hard, because they're going to love you, and they're going to love you through it, and they're going to love your kid through it.
Good. So be vulnerable.
Yeah. And be okay with that.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. The second thing I would say, if it's somebody that's grieving a heavy grief, be vulnerable.
Yeah.
I think the more sincere we are, the better response we get. I think when we act too tough, I think it does us an injustice. I think what it does is we're like, oh, we don't need anyone, so we're fine. We got it. And so then people stop asking, stop wanting, because they're like, oh, they're fine.
They must be okay.
They're okay. They're fine. And really, what you're starving inside for, you're hurting, and you just want someone to recognize that. Sometimes you just need to be recognized. It doesn't have to be this grandiose thing. So those are the two things. Just be prepared to be really vulnerable, because you'll get a better result.
Good.
And that's hard.
Okay. All right. This is it.
Okay.
What's a question you've always wanted to ask me?
Okay. I got one for you.
Okay. I'm ready.
Besides your family, and besides your career, what are you most proud of?
Besides family and career.
Right. Because those are always like...
Oh, yeah. It's KCRCO.
Yeah.
If that's because I've let it go. I'm not even part of it anymore. That was a years-long process in my brain that I finally started and launched. And it's here in the community and it's thriving. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of who I am as, I guess, a person in the world. But, I've always said my most important role is being a father, but who I am as a grandfather.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you said not family.
It's okay.
But aside from that, I was working with Johnny today in the field, and I had little Jerry, who I am with our pets.
Yeah.
Like our dogs and even the cat Onyx, but that I really love working with Johnny, and now I get to work with Jerry, so I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I like it. I think that's really neat. David, you're a really special person. And I really appreciate and respect you. And thank you for letting people have opportunities to talk about the things they need to talk about. It's really empowering. And I think it's something that most people don't realize how empowering it is.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, launch this was something my son said, you should start a podcast, and I resisted it. And then I think it was him. He's like, you should have guests on. And I'm like, okay, let's give it a try. Yeah. It's been super cool.
It's super cool.
And I appreciate, and thank you for your kind words. I say this, and this is just my reality for myself. I'm just a kid from the streets of Tacoma who has seen some things and done some things and have been able to create the life that I have today. Have not done it in isolation. It's because of people like you and many others who have been willing to show up and lift me up and help me along the way. Because you kind of said this, I think, earlier. There's, none of what I've been able to do in my world has been done in isolation.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've done the work, because people say, well, you look at, yes, I've done the work.
Yeah.
But I have not done it alone.
Right.
Right. I've done it with people who have been like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. What can I do to help? Or people out in front of me doing stuff. That's really important to me. Like, oh, that's really cool what they're doing. Maybe I'll try this. Stepping into the fear. So
yeah.
This has been great.
It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
Much.
Okay.
So cool.
This is the part where we hug it out.
Okay.
We did it. Nice. Okay. Thanks for listening to Deep Dive with Dr. D. You can follow me on my other social media channels by clicking the link in the description.